of my wigs and extensions without using like a ton of product and really easily and quickly. So I'm going to be showing you guys a dip dye technique, which is honestly super, super easy. It works with all of our semi-permanent colors, and it's really great to make custom shades, which I do a lot of the time with clip-in extensions and different tracks that I sew into weaves and wefts. So this is a wig that I'm going to be showing you how I did the technique. I'm going to be doing different colors today, but I went in with some pale pink blending into some lavender, which I'm going to be entering in the Brooklyn Heights contest, which we're all super excited about because I think she would look really great in these colors. And then I'm going to be showing you guys how I dip dye wefts that I sew into the wig to add more dimension, which I've done on this wig that I entered for the Pulp Riot contest. So whenever we got our boxes with all of these colors, I had a really great time making this wig. And then I just sewed extra tracks to add different colors and dimension without creating like muddiness in the contrasting colors, because I really like working with complementary colors and tertiary colors. So I just want them to be clean and concise without having too much muddiness and murkiness. So if we go to our presentation of what I will be showcasing today, I'll have all of my formulas so you guys can take screenshots and pictures so that you can write them down. Look at Brooklyn Heights, isn't she so beautiful? Our queen from the north. So we are doing, the class today is called the Colorball Extravaganza, and it's exactly that, about wigs and extensions with semi-permanent colors. This is the wig that you see right here on my beautiful friend Sarah, who looks great in it. And so what I did with that is I did the color technique on the root, and then I dip dyed for the other colors to create, because we only get like one tube of the colors, I wanted to get as much bang for my buck as I could. So the formula for the wig is clear and candy with nuclear for the root, so I could create like a poppy coral color. And then what I'll be dip dyeing in is just candy and lava. And then my second look, which I used the exact same method, is also on my beautiful friend Sarah. And so I used Blue Muse, Area 51, and Decoy in water for the dip dye wefts. And on my Instagram, I have a TikTok that I made using this technique, and that was the final outcome and the look. And then my third look will be some rainbow extensions that I used on my friend Steph. And so it's really great, really fun, really exciting. And then you can just clip them out. Steph is actually a nurse, so she can't have rainbow hair all the time, although we would like her to. So it's really quick and easy with some extensions. And for that, I'm using all of the neons with clear to dilute them and make them more pastels, so they're not as much of a pop, and they're more blended and really beautiful and more like a shine line. And then my final look, I just used the technique where I sewed extra hair into a ponytail weft that I got from Amazon actually, and then I colored it with all of our semi-permanent colors, and I used the just lilac blush, sea glass, and powder to create more of like an icicle dreaminess. And then those diamonds are just honestly stickers from Michaels that I just glued onto the hair, and it looks really great in photography. So it turned out really, really great. So we're gonna get started. I'm going to grab my first bucket of water. Now,
just so everyone knows, we will be putting up the presentation at the end so that everyone can take pictures of the formulas.
Perfect. So I will say, sourcing hair in Canada, a lot of us are from Canada, some of us are from the States, but sourcing hair in Canada is pretty difficult and very costly. So for me, because a lot of the time I'm using these just for photo shoots and I just want them, they don't really need to be the highest quality. So I find Amazon.ca is really great if you're not selling them for clients and you're just using them for photography. It's really cheap and really effective, and it's human hair, so you can color them. And whenever you style it nicely, it doesn't really show that it's really cheap hair, but you get the effective look that you want. So I'm just gonna take my camera and bring it down a tiny bit just to show my water. So I'm starting off with about half of the bucket full. This came from the Dollarama. It was $2. It's nice and clear. It's big, so we can dip it in and not have any kind of obstructed view. I usually tend to go for warmer water because I find sometimes with lesser quality hair, such as Amazon hair, if you're using too cold of water, the hair just absorbs everything and the porosity really just makes it as like too dark for what you would like. But so I'm doing warm water and I'm just going in with candy and lava, and I'm gonna squirt probably 1/3 of the tube. I really enjoy this technique because you don't have to use so much product and it really colors a lot of hair really quickly. So I'm going in with candy and lava, which is neon pink and neon orange, just to make like a beautiful poppy coral color. The inspiration for this is really like punk rock, England, kind of David Bowie. I'm gonna turn it into a mullet and like a really cool shaggy mullet. So that's why I'm really excited about it. So this is my wig. What I've done is I went in and I painted the hairline with a darker color, which is when I did the clear, nuclear, and candy, just so that I had more dimension. I find when you dip dye a wig solid, it can sometimes look like a Party City wig where it's all one color and it looks pretty cheap, but we want it to look like we spent a lot of time on it and we really made it expensive. So I'm just gonna go ahead and like whisk this together real quick. And the thing that I enjoy about this technique is that you have a lot of control based on how long you dip it in. You can make it darker, deeper, or more pastel, which is how I got that beautiful ombre over here from like the lighter pastel color into the deeper purple color. I just dipped it in for longer. And personally for me, whenever I do fashion colors, even though I'm doing fashion colors, I still want to make it look as natural as possible. So I'm gonna dip dye the very, very nape of the color. Whenever you look at a natural blonde, there's always a lot of dimension around the face and deeper throughout the bottom because the sun isn't hitting the bottom of the hair. So I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna test the very bottom, and even if it goes too deep, it's still gonna look really nice and natural.
That is such a good tip.
Yeah. So what I end up doing is like on the nape of these things, there's always this like beautiful little lip that has this, like the comb. I just really grab the very, very bottom of that. So probably like the last 3 tracks of it. And then I go in and I test the color just to see. So we're gonna dip it in.
We just have one question from Ciara. How much color did you actually add to the water?
If we're talking in grams, I'm gonna say like 60 grams of color. I went in half and half. So like 30 grams of lava and 30 grams of Cupid to make like a 60 grams of color.
Okay, 60 grams to color to like how much water? So like maybe,
I'm gonna say like 4 or 5 liters.
Okay.
And it's warm color. So there you can see that we've already colored that pretty beautifully. I'm going for a neon coral color, so I don't want it to be too opaque. And that was in the first like 2 minutes. So I'm actually finding, I don't know if it's coming across on camera, but it's a little too pink for me. It's looking a little more like a flamingo, which is a really cute look. I just don't think it's my look that I'm going for. So I'm gonna go in with more lava just to really whisk that in and make it more of a coral color. It's a beautiful color.
I have a question for you. So if you are, you see the bucket and you see the actual color of the water, is that exactly going to be the color that comes out on the hair?
It's not.
Okay.
It's not. And that's why I do a lot of test strands, because if you just go in with your wig right away, you could potentially get a really undesirable color or
okay,
just not as vibrant as you want.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. It's usually like pretty similar, but it's always going to be a little bit more pastel based on how long you're leaving it in there for. If you soak it in there overnight, I find with yellow especially, on my model Sarah about 2 years ago for the characters contest. I turned her into Cynthia from the Rugrats, and she had like these wavy big pieces of yellow hair. Those I ended up soaking for like an hour because yellow is always, I find, the hardest to color extensions, which is shocking because it comes at a beautiful 613 like yellow color. But that I find you have to leave in like a lot longer. But it's usually like pretty on par with the color, which is exactly what I want.
Such a nice color.
Let's try. We're gonna dip it in again. The more color you put in, the like brighter it's going to be.
And if it's not the color that you want, you can just re-dip it and let it soak for longer. You don't have to remove the color and then put more color in.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
So this is looking pretty good. It's looking a little bit more orangey. We're going for like the Cheeto bag. So I'm just gonna go in with the whole thing.
And now, it's not going to affect the root at all, right? That you've already applied?
No, because the root is already a deeper color than what I have applied. I also went in to protect my lace because we are using a lace front wig and I don't want her to have like a crunchy orange lace. I've gone in with clear at the lace just to protect it. Now we have encapsulation properties in our semi-permanent colors, so they kind of dry down and get a little harder. So I put clear on the lace to protect the lace so we don't stain it and make it like an orange lace.
Very cool.
That's what I personally like doing. You can go in with a lot of different things. You can go in with like got to be hard gel, but that like takes forever to wash out. You can also do Vaseline. I've seen people online do that. Also sounds like a nightmare to wash out. And I'm looking for quick and effective. I don't really want to have to like scrub a dub for 3 hours.
That's something that like I personally would never think about, is to cover the lace, but then all of a sudden you cover your wig and you're going to put your wig on, you have like an orange line. So exactly. Would you ever use conditioner or anything else other than clear to cover that?
Yeah, you could definitely use conditioner. I find because I'm like going in and I'm dipping it away, the conditioner sometimes tends to wash away really quickly.
Okay.
Whereas the clear, because it's already encapsulated in with like the root color that I've applied, I find it's really great. It's just a really great way to use clear. I use clear in almost all of my formulas anyway. I just really like how sheer and pastel it is. And so whenever you have it kicking around.
That is so beautiful.
Already looking really beautiful.
Yes, can we get some hearts in the chat for how beautiful that color is? It's pretty insane. I love it.
So I'm just gonna like actually let this sit in there for quite a bit longer and we can move on to my next formula. I just want it to be like pretty poppy.
Yes.
So I'm gonna retire this. We're gonna have movie magic. If you look at my Instagram later tomorrow, probably you're gonna see like the finished look.
You're getting lots of hearts.
Yeah.
Yes. 5-minute wig. That should be your new, you should make a little series. The 5-minute wig.
That's a great idea.
I know it is. It's amazing.
That is such a good time. So for my next formula, what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be coloring some wefts. So again, with Amazon wigs, sometimes they come and they're pretty perfect, Tabby. I'm going to get on it. Carson needs to produce and we're matchmakers. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to color some wefts. My biggest tip, which is the easiest, and I've never seen anyone else do it. You can buy some like pretty expensive wig clips online, like for extensions. A paint hanger. It's the same thing. You just take your weft, you stick it in the paint hanger, and then you're good to go.
So crafty.
Looks a little disheveled. It is a body wave, and I've gone in and I've prepped my hair. Along with the wig, I prepped it with, I had to clarify it a little bit. So I used a clarifying shampoo, and then I toned it. What he used to protect the lace, I used clear, the clear semi-permanent hair color. And I let it sit for probably like 45 minutes and let it dry down and encapsulate. And then I go in, yes, I swear my Bellamy holder, it is a paint hanger, Kayla, I'm telling you, they're paint hangers. So you can just get them for like $4 at Walmart, and it's lovely. You can get like a pack of them. Do you clarify? I clarify all my units, even whenever they're from Bellamy. I just find prepping the hair with, and like getting any of that coating off will ensure that I get a better, just a better color in general. So I went in with my clarifying shampoo, and then I used Barcelona in water to tone it because it was really yellow. And because I'm doing this blue Muse, if I kept it really yellow, then it would have been more on the green side. So to counteract that, I went in with my Barcelona to just really tone it out and make it more of like a white color. So I'm gonna go in with this one. Blue Muse is my favorite color of all time. It's powerful. Like, she's very powerful. So I'm gonna put in like half a tube because I want these to be extremely vibrant to really contrast against my neon wig. So I'm just gonna go in. Beautiful color, obsessed. I'm really playing off of the complementary colors. So I'm gonna have my neon coral mullet, and then down here, I'm gonna have like really beautiful poppy pieces of Blue Muse. So I'm gonna go in, dollar store whisk. Really mix that in. Also, I use a whisk to really mix it in, because I find if not, you can have little chunks of color that are left over, and they will really suck up and have, like, they'll color your weft, and it'll look kind of like confetti, which is really cute if that's what you're going for. You're gonna have like a little birthday cake flavored weave, but I just want it to be really nice and opaque today. So just really whisk in there. For this one, I probably used like 50 grams of color right into the tube because it is more powerful. And you'll see, I'm gonna dip it in and it'll be like neon blue right away.
So exciting watching it change color, yes.
Like literally Kool-Aid. What up?
Yes.
Just soak it up, I'm telling you.
Oh, I can't. So good. Wow.
But yeah, so that's going to be great for the contrast. Blue Muse is super powerful. You have to put it in there for like maybe 30 seconds, and it's like very, very intense blue. And one of the things, I keep on repeating it, but especially when you're coloring hair extensions, because they're really porous, you need a lot of color and product to be able to go in and saturate it all and make sure that you have an even coating. With the water technique, I just find it does it all for me, and I use like 20% of the color that I would use if I was going to color all of this, because this is fully half a bundle. And now it's perfect. So I'm just going to another tip that's gotten me in trouble before. I really enjoy wrapping it up in a towel right away to let it towel dry a little bit, because I literally just dipped it in water and then color. If you don't, it can drip all over the place. Have you had this technique taken home by any clients? So yeah, I do find the color lasts really long because I'm doing a lot of clip-in extensions. Usually you're not washing those after every wash, so you're not really wetting it. With the color of semi-permanent, it fades a lot whenever it gets wet or once you wash it. So with extensions, I find you're not going in and making it like it's not gonna fade a lot. I'm gonna let that get in there because I want it to be brighter as well. But I find it lasts really long because you're not washing it all the time. Reverse ombre, yeah, it's amazing for light to dark. That's literally what I did to this. So I'll pull this out again and show you. I went in with, I'm gonna move my blue water because I don't want to tint her. So with this, I went in with my pink color, but you don't have to. And I dipped this in very, very quickly, which is why there's just a tint of purple, and then I let it sit a lot longer for the ends. I know whenever Brooklyn was live, she said that she really wanted to have like some blonde to silver to purple ombre, so reverse ombres. And so this was my take on it. I didn't want to do a full-on Billie Eilish look. It's personally not my favorite. So I wanted it to be more blended and more bubblegum pop, very like Katy Perry, Britney Spears, and less like harsh green and black. But you could totally do this with noir and dip it in and get those black ends and make it look really, really beautiful. It's a really great time.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. It was so easy. Like, it looks like I spent so much time on it.
Yeah.
Genuinely, like 4 minutes. Like, it was a 4-minute wig, this one.
So how long are you gonna leave that blue one in there for?
I mean, she's pretty beautiful, but like, so I would take it out now, but for movie magic, I'm just gonna like put it away in the oven and then you guys can see it on Instagram.
The 5-minute wig.
The 5-minute wig.
Your new cooking show, except you're cooking wigs.
I mean, basically.
Yeah.
So that's basically how I dip most of my wigs. It's really, really easy. Anytime I tone extensions, I use that exact same technique. And so now I'm going to be showing you how I color wefts. Get wiggy with it. That's a great title. Okay. Oh, actually, I don't know what I'm doing. Another pro tip, I don't know what it's like in America, but this is a bag from Bulk Barn because I really wanted some sour candies the other day. Turns out they're perfect for protecting your wig block so you don't get a bunch of color all over them. So pro tip, go to Bulk Barn. And then now I have my wefts. So here we have my super cute little wig block that looks like Riff Raff from Rocky Horror Picture Show. And so I'm gonna color her. I don't know if I missed where you get your wigs. Honestly, Amazon. I got these wigs on Amazon. I'm lucky enough to live right next to the United States. So I got them shipped to the States and then had a friend bring them over for me. So they were a lot cheaper. I find in Canada, the last time I bought a wig from Amazon.ca, it was really, really cheap. And it was the wig that I used for my Grinch photo shoot for the wintertime where I can. And it was awful. Like, it was so bad. So it was like a 4x4 parting that like ended here. And then the track started back here. So it was great for the Grinch because I was turning myself into a monster. But like on any client, it would have been awful. So I get them a lot from Amazon.com. And then I go to my beauty supply stores in Ottawa. I go to colourists, which I know there's some in Toronto. And I also go to Mama C's, which is like an Ottawa. I think they're only in Ottawa and they're pretty good, but I find it's really expensive. I also don't know why it's so hard to source in Canada, but it is terrible. This wig right here that I used for the Pulp Riot, I got in a warehouse in Miami. It was really sketchy. And like a girl at the beauty supply store was like, go to this warehouse. They have really cheap wigs. And it turned out to be a great wig that I literally got in a warehouse, which was super sketch, but it was totally fine. It worked out and she's beautiful.
Don't go searching for warehouses out there, you guys.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Do it for the gram. So I'm going to be coloring these wefts. This weft is the exact same hair that I just threw in the blue bucket, but I'm going to be doing some rainbows with it so that I can sew into this wig and make her a little more like pastel-y. So for this look, I went in and I mixed in all of the neons with the clear. Another pro tip, these are palettes from the dollar store. They're so great, so easy. You can mix everything in there and then they're super easy to clean up. You just throw them in the sink and power wash them. They're $1. I buy like 5 of them at a time because also pro tip, and it's really terrible for the environment, but sometimes I just don't wash them and I just throw them out. But you can just reuse them. They're pretty great. So I've gone ahead and I mixed all of our neons with clear to make them more pastel. So it's not as harsh because my other wig is so pastel. Now, what I'm going to do with this hair, because whenever I'm sewing it onto a wig cap, the wigs caps are sewn very, very straight. So I find if you go to paint the weft down, straight down, it can look like you just got a clip in from Claire's boutique and it's like really cheap. And then you just have like blocky rainbows, which I don't really like. So I'm gonna go in on the diagonal to be able to have more of like a ribbon of color for in between all of my wefts. So they're really gonna be down and they're not gonna be so blocky. With these are the actual extensions that I showed in that picture with Steph, and she had the hair tie. These are the actual ones, and you can see what I mean, where it looks like they come from, like, honestly, they come from Claire's boutique, but they were like 22-inch extensions that I got on Amazon. Steph is 5'11", so they looked like they were pretty short, but like they were 22-inch extensions. I don't mix half clear and half color. I usually mix more clear than color, especially with Blue Muse. I go in with probably, like, I do a tiny, tiny dot of color with the clear. You always want to start with your clear first and then add your color to it, especially with the neons because they're so pigmented. If you start with the color first, you're going to need to add so much clear to be able to dilute it, and you're still never going to get the look that you want because it's just so much pigment. So with Blue Muse especially, I put like a dot with all of that clear, and it's already still so, so bright. So with the extensions, what you can do is just like put it down on top of a film, like a mesh, or you can do cling wrap. I know that frame art has a no cling wrap that's really good, so you can just take it off and like cut it off and then lay down your hair so that you're not getting color all over the counters, because sign of a pro, clean as you go. You don't really want to create a mess everywhere. Plus on my salon we have really, really beautiful marble countertops, and I don't think the owner would be very happy if I stained it with a bunch of neon colors. So I'm going to go in with my brushes. I like cute little black brushes. These are the Pulp Riot ones. They're really great. I think you can get them at Alternative or your distributor somewhere. These ones are coming out soon. I got them sent to me by Alexis, and it was really lovely. She sent me a cute little package with bowls and brushes, and I really love them. But I'm sure Carson can tell you where you can get the Pulp Riot brushes and bowls. And then I'm gonna go in with my mesh. Now I am doing it on top of a wig block. I don't really want to get my wig block all gunky. So I'm just honestly gonna go in. I'm going to put down my hair. And then I'm gonna go in with my first color. And I'm gonna go in on the diagonal because again, I want to add those ribbons of color. Can you see? Can everyone see?
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Perfect, great. Does anybody have any questions? I know I've been talking nonstop the whole time, but if you have any questions, please let us know.
I feel like the rainbow weft is like kind of your signature.
Yeah, like there's nothing I love more than just throwing rainbows on everything.
Yeah.
So I find, and again, like I live in a small town. A lot of my friends are professionals. Not a lot of them really want to have rainbow all over the place, but I'm a sucker for Rainbow Bright and My Little Pony. So I'm just gonna go in with a 1-inch section and really just paint on my color. Now it is really sheer because I do really want to have more of like a reflective light, as in like a full-on like pastel rainbow.
Can you tell us why you go in on a diagonal?
Yeah, because if you go straight across, it looks like a cheap Claire's boutique clip-in. Okay. So by adding it on a diagonal, we're really gonna have, yeah, like holographic vibes and more ribbons of color and just really, really, really cute. So I'm gonna go in the Roy G. Biv order. I'm gonna go blue, green, yellow, orange, pink. And then I'm gonna get my blue to mix in with my pink a little and create a purple, because we don't have a neon purple yet. So sometimes if I wanna have a really heavy purple in there, I will go in with velvet and clear with like the itty bittiest dot of blue Muse, just so that I can really get a purple representation in the rainbow. So again, I'm gonna go in with on a diagonal, and I'm just gonna take my finger and I'm gonna blend them ever so lightly so that I don't have a big, hard, chunky line. These are also really great if you end up getting like the big sets of hair extensions that a lot of people get. They always come with those little tiny pieces that like no one ever uses and always end up in the bottom of a drawer. I find those are really cute pastel pieces, and you can make really great rainbow pieces with them. So I'm just really going in and blending them with my brush. And then also, if I find I have a hard line, I'll again go in with my finger. And then we're gonna go orange.
Love it.
Are you guys super excited for the 5 new colors that are coming out soon? Because I know I am, and I cannot wait for them. Alexis announced them, and I instantly got giddy. That new green and new purple are so beautiful.
So good. Super exciting. Chat's going crazy.
Amazing. I cannot wait.
I believe it's only 4 though.
There's only 4. The pink one's coming out later.
Yeah.
But I'm still here for it. I cannot wait. I'm doing this very like pastel-y, super soft, very Kelly O inspired. She's my personal favorite artist. I'm always just amazed at everything that she comes up with. So I find such huge inspiration. Kayla as well, who's here, Kayla Blackheart on Instagram. She does pastels like no one I've ever seen. If you don't follow her already, go follow her.
Oh my God, Kayla Blackheart. The Kayla Blackheart.
The Kayla Blackheart. Bubble technique queen. Amen. She's the best. Megan McDougall, the Rainbow Blondie as well. She's also incredible. Ivy, so good. This is just going to be an hour and a half of me shouting out my friends because they're all so talented. So this is where I'm going in to make that purple in between. You can already see where it's happening. I find it such a beautiful, like organic type of color melt anyway, just really following. And so I'm just going to continue that super quickly just to finish that up. And again, I'm going in with like super, super pastel.
I think this is such a good tip because just some people are so, afraid of going with like, crazy colors and like rainbow hair and stuff like that. But this is very approachable in the fact that, not everyone has to actually bleach out their hair to do a rainbow fun color. Like you can color these things and add them in to anyone's regular hair, send them home, sell them, do very cool things. So this is a very, very, it's great tips. It's amazing.
It's honestly my favorite thing to do. I went to the Katy Perry concert with my best friend and we did this to her like ombre extensions that she no longer used. And we got stopped everywhere we went.
Yeah, amazing.
People just could not stop. They were like, oh my God, I love it. And so it's really easy. And then you just take them out at the end of the night.
Yeah, Andy says it honestly might just display some in the salon and say who wants to get a little wild. It's an amazing kind of cool thing that people really are loving.
And people just love it. Like all it takes is one girl to show up with some pastel rainbow extensions and girls go wild. Like they're amazing. Yeah. Especially with like bachelorette parties and stuff. I do a lot of wedding parties to begin with. So like anything for bachelorette parties, like you're going to Vegas for your bachelorette party, get some rainbow extensions. It's such a good time. So these are really long. So I'm just gonna go in really quickly with a secondary mesh. These meshes are my favorite. I just really, really enjoy them. and I got them from Fremar, and they're pretty cheap and super affordable. They're way better for the environment than my plastic dollar store, because you can wash them and reuse them.
I've seen that people do that before, and then they stick them on their wall to dry.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. They stick them on their wall and they dry that way. They're the best.
That's so cool. I've used these before. Sometimes when I don't want to have a full-on paint palette, I'll just line my tray with those and squirt my color right on it and then go ahead and use it. I recently saw in the Pulp Riot artist group on Facebook that someone just put like cling wrap onto her tray, and then when she was done, she just rolled it all up and threw it in the garbage, and it's super easy and you don't have to do any dishes.
Wow.
I love your colors, that pulp too. Yes, it is. I've gone on quite a hair journey in the past 3 weeks since our cream bleach got sent to us. I went white, and it was so white and it looked super beautiful. But in person, it was so white that it was like see-through and you could see my pink scalp behind. And I looked like the old lady from the Titanic with like super thin hair. Wasn't cute in person at all. And then I decided to go full Serena Williams and went tennis ball green. Also, not the greatest look for me. I looked like that booger from Ghostbusters. Not a fun time. So then I decided to go back to silver. So I cleared it, and then I have like a little bit of green left over. But then I went in with our demi permanent colors, and my hair feels incredible since.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get my hands on the cream. It's so good. I can't wait until my distributor gets it because I'm ordering 12 of them. They're so incredible. It was
just to keep you on track, we have about 20 minutes left.
Perfect. Already? I feel like we just got started.
I know.
Okay, so I'm gonna finish this one track and then I'll go into my next technique that I'm going to be showing you, which is super, super easy.
The cream bleach should be available across Canada by April 1st.
Well, here we go. 2 weeks left of a countdown.
Matt Iron says this class is everything. Thank you, Matt.
I'm so glad you're enjoying it. We're just having a ball. Something I enjoy doing as well with my rainbow extensions is sometimes when the ends get a little thinner, I'll go in and finish it all out. Is that Steph? Space Steph, I love your work. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna finish the last 2 inches with a color just to have extra ribbons of color and more dimension into it. So I'm gonna go in with the last color, and today it's gonna be blue. Maybe it's because it's my favorite color, but I just really love it. So what I'm gonna do, another tip, because I've painted on these extensions, I'm going to cover them with another mesh just to make sure that we don't get any transfer. And then I'm going to flip it over and make sure I go in, because as much as I was really pressing into it, if you look, face crack, it's all blonde.
Wow.
I know. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna like resaturate it afterwards just to make sure that we have a good saturation. If you want a bubble technique and really holographic, you don't have to go in and finish it all the way through, and then it's gonna look more like soft pastel, which I might actually do because that's exactly what I want. So like, as you see, like once I flipped it over, like.
Yeah, such a good tip because it doesn't go all the way through. So you go back and do the back. Amazing.
So I do that very frequently whenever I'm doing extensions, like design work with extensions.
Nice, nice use of face crack too.
Thank you. I know, like I'm trying to throw in as much drag race lingo because I'm doing a drag race inspired like class. Okay, so I'm just going to show you guys real quick on here my running loop stitch. I sew in a lot of hair, so I'm really proud of like how it's like kind of clean and really like beautiful and just like secure. So if you go in and you do like sew-in extensions, so I know that that's super popular, like the hand-tied wefts right now are super in, everyone's getting them. It's basically the same thing, but you're really going in on your wig cap. So I'm actually gonna take this wig cap off and show you guys the inside of it to show you how it's constructed. This is from one of my classes that I did. She's really beautiful. She's rocking that Natalie Portman look in Black Swan. So if I flip it inside out, you can see she was thin, like she didn't have that much hair. So I went in and I sewed a lot of tracks.
Wow.
So on the wig cap, you can see like where the wig is sewn, and that's where all the tracks are. So all I do is I go in between the tracks. Usually, like with this wig, what I wanted was a lot of dimension, and I wanted to showcase decoy, which was our new color, with satire and nuclear. So I went like every third or fourth weft to add my nuclear and satire. And that way, whenever you flipped it around, like you had all of the dimension, and it became so, what do you use to sew them in? I've never added wefts before. Girl, I'm about to show you. So that's how I went in and I added like all the dimension and all the bulk. So I'm gonna use tumble. I'm gonna show you guys on this little ponytail because it's made basically the same and it's gonna be super easy for us. And I already did some on here. So these ponytails are also a really good look. You can do half up, half downs. This is how Ariana Grande always gets her hair to be like super high and big, but then she has like a ton of weft down here. They just plop one of these on top of her head. And it's super, super, super simple. And if you look underneath, it's the same. Like it's the same construction as the wig. And I did the exact same thing to sew in the wefts. So I'm gonna go in and separate it and then I'll show you guys. These things are really great. I also get them on Amazon and then I just bump it with extra hair just to make them thicker and more beautiful. I used to be a cheerleader. In 2018, I was on a Worlds team and I won a medal. At Worlds, everyone has a posh pony, which are, it's like this mom duo who just make a killing selling these plastic ponytails. Some of them are human hair, and this is basically all they do. And then girls sew them into their hair and then flip around on stage and they don't go nowhere. So I'm just gonna separate that and then show you guys exactly where I'm gonna sew them. So I have my outline really beautifully. These are from, this was a mixture of like dip dyeing as well as just painting it on, and there's some rainbows in here. And then I added some tracks from Bellamy just to really beef it up and make it like big and huge. And then the image that I selected that ended up winning like showcased none of the length. So I'm gonna go in. What I'm gonna use to do this is I'm gonna use weaving thread. Again, you can just call me Amazon Queen because I get everything from Amazon. The thread is like really thick and it's really, really strong, but it comes in a plethora of different hair colors to be able to match everyone. And then I use one of these like leather weaving needles. Have a little YouTube moment, showcase the goods. So it's bent so that it's easier. Like I have sausage fingers, which is like really hard to like get in and like really sew things. I'm just not a delicate flower. So by having it sewn in, by having it bent, I mean, it's a lot easier to like go in and out, and then you're not stabbing your client in the head, which can, like, if you're going in with a straight needle, you can go in and unfortunately cause them a lot of pain, which is not a fun time. So I'm gonna grab one of my wefts. Okay, we're coming, we're coming. Okay, this is my weft. It's blonde, she's cute, she's loving life. So I'm gonna place it exactly where, one sec, I'm gonna get closer and tilt this. Ooh, ah. Can everyone see all right? Is everyone okay? Is everyone enjoying this? This is how you get like cheap, really crappy Amazon wigs and make them look really expensive. You just add a bunch of weave to it. So I'm just gonna go, I use duckbill clips. It's really great, it's really easy. And then I'm gonna go in with my needle and I'm gonna do my first stitch. So this ponytail is made out of netting. So it's really easy for you to see where you're gonna be sewing it and easy for you to catch it. So I'm gonna go and grab my first one. Normally I would measure this out, but because I'm just gonna end up cutting this out after, I'm not really doing that. So I'm gonna bring it in on the weft. And then I've tied a knot at the end of this. I'm gonna go and put my needle through it to really anchor it in. And that's what starts my stitch. Now I've already started my stitch. It's really quick and easy. And then you just go from there. So I'm gonna hold my thread. I'm right-handed, so I'm gonna hold my thread over to the left. I'm gonna go in, grab a piece of the netting, go underneath my weft, pull it in, and make sure that I have my needle inside of the loop. That way, whenever I pull it, I'm adding extra grip, and then you have your really nice running loop stitch. It's really strong, it's really quick and easy. You don't really have to fuss around. And because it's just a piece, it's really great, and you can just go through. So a lot of the time, I just really go in and quickly sew a couple tracks. If you want to get really arts and craftsy and like not really sew, I've seen people online that use glue guns. It works. I just like, that's a little too thrifty for me. I personally just like a little bit of like, I like a little bit of arts and crafts, but not like full on hot glue gunning hair together.
You have to make sure you go to sewing school before or after hair school.
I would say take like a Bellamy master class real quick, or like,
okay.
Or go on YouTube. Like YouTube's great. I learned like the most of this in like on YouTube. Like in Canada, there's not really that much education on like wigs and extensions. But on YouTube, there's a ton of them, and there's a lot of great drag queen tutorials. I know some of the people that have been on Drag Race Canada have tutorials, and a lot of the United States queens have tutorials on it. So, pardon?
Amazing.
Yeah, so I just use a lot of those tips and tricks, and I just go in and sew it and just add extra hair, because who doesn't want big, thick hair? I saw Ariana Grande in concert too, and like, let me tell you, her ponytail that she was whipping around, like she is such a tiny lady, and that ponytail was like the size of her body, and how she did not break her neck whipping it around, amazing. Just a neck of steel. It was unreal. So yeah, so I'll show you guys really quickly how it looks. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect.
Awesome.
So it's just like really quick, really tight and in there. And then whenever after you're all done and you take your hair down, it's all hidden. And then you just have extra hair.
Can we get some hearts in the chat for that? That is unreal.
Do you get West from Amazon as well? Yeah, a lot of the time I do.
Yes.
Or I find hair stores are really good for wefts, especially like if you get a different, like a lighter color, like a darker color. Darker hair is always way easier to find. Right now with lockdown, everyone is doing arts and crafts projects at home. So like 613 wefts are like gone everywhere. But I find on Amazon, there's like a lot of them.
I have to say, like, it's when you're like, okay, I want to do 4 looks. I'm like, well, that's a lot in like an hour. But like, it's been pretty crazy to see how fast you actually do these looks. It's incredible.
Yeah. Well, like because this is the thing. I am pretty busy behind the chair as well. And I enjoy doing all these looks and photo shoots, like whenever I can find a spare time with my best friends. So quick and simple and effective for me is a really like what works for my schedule, and I get to create awesome art at the same time.
Very, very cool.
So by adding hair, and like you can see like right now it doesn't really blend because you can see like the straight blonde pieces I just added in. But if I were to curl those, like you would never be able to tell. And there's still holding it together and stuff. So on a wig, I find that's a lot easier. Also because obviously cost effectiveness, we don't, like getting a 30-inch wig is pretty costly. So if you can find like a cheaper wig that's longer with wefts, I find that's an easier way to get like a really nice long wig.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we do have time for some Q&A. Anyone out there that have any questions that weren't that were not answered? Also, we can reshare the formulas. Do you guys want to re-see the formulas as well? Okay. Okay, so I'll share my screen and reshare the formulas for you guys. And
synthetic hair with pulp? No. No, you cannot. And that's one thing you have to look out for whenever you are buying wefts online. You have to make sure that it's this human hair, because if you get a synthetic wig, it's not going to be able to be colored. So that ponytail in that picture is the one that I just sewed that extra weft into.
Take a screenshot. All right, this is the rainbow weft. So if you want to talk to that one. Oh, wow. So beautiful. So this is the rainbow extensions, which we're now all going to sell in our salons for our clients, because we're going to create a trend here, because that is huge. All right, I'm going to move to the next one. Then you have the dip dye weft, which was the blue Muse and Area 51 plus water. And then we had the dip dye wig, which is root, clear plus candy, which is that one you have right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the formula for that. So root, and then he did the root first, then he did clear plus candy, plus nuclear, watercolor candy, and lava, which is the one that you're seeing on the screen right now. That looks amazing.
I'm so excited to go to the salon and cut it right after this.
What do you retail single weft rainbow extensions for?
It depends, like if I spent a lot of money on the hair or not. A lot of the time, I'm not gonna lie, if I do it for a photo shoot and I spent like next to nothing on it, I'll just give it to clients. If I were to retail it, I would probably buy like a set from Bellamy, because they have really, really great extensions that are really nice and thick. And then I would retail it probably for like $50, depending on the length and up. I live in a super, super small town, so like our retail costs are already pretty cheap. Just like I genuinely live, like there's only like 45,000 people in my town. So a lot of girls aren't spending the most amount of money on like fake hair that they're going to wear a couple times. But in the bigger cities, like you could probably get like 100 to like 75 to 100 per weft. I missed how much dye to water. So I put roughly like 60 to 80 grams of water to roughly 4 to 5 liters of water. So color to water. Thank you for this class. Learned a lot, and now even more excited to continue. Yeah, exactly. Like that's why I wanted to do this class, so that you could use these to make a wig for possibly Brooklyn Heights, because that's so exciting.
Very cool. Yeah, if you guys haven't entered yet, you can go to Pulp Riot Canada and look at the pictures of the videos for our Pulp Riot Realness competition. You have until the 22nd to enter, and then winners will be announced on the 29th. Another question here. How much do Bellamy extensions go for? I've only ever worked with GBB, say like a 20-inch weft or clip-in, sorry.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I've never actually bought a set of clip-in from Bellamy. I only get the Wefts from like the professional side. So I know if you're going to buy a bundle from the professional, it's roughly $350 Canadian for 16-inch and $450 for 20-inch. And then you can cut those and sew clips on yourself. Or you can buy like a set of clip-ins that are just for consumer, because Bellamy unfortunately doesn't have pro price for clip-ins.
Awesome. And then did you apply the clear and let it dry on the wig?
Yes.
Okay.
So I let it dry on the cap. So I went through and did it on the cap. That way now you can see that it's just like the clear cap and it's not super neon orange. So it has encapsulation properties. So like whenever you apply your color and then you let it sit and it gets kind of dry on the hair, that way whenever you rinse it off, it doesn't bleed into each other. That's exactly what I did, but just to the lace to protect it.
Okay, amazing. And then we are getting a lot of questions about aftercare. So like, how do you wash your wigs? What do you do with them? Do the water dip dye ones, do they fade faster?
So I find if you wash them very often, then yes, but because it's such an easy process, you can just like refresh the color whenever you want. I do that a lot as well. Also, because there's a thing called co-washing, which is where you just condition and use water. Because our semi-permanent colors are conditioner based, it's really great for co-washing and adding color back into the hair. So I do that a lot, and it makes it really nice and soft for the extensions and the client to use them. I would also, you want to use like sulfate-free shampoos to help it last longer and be really nice, which just so happens that Bangkok and Tokyo, our shampoo and conditioner are really great for the wigs, and I use them a lot of the time. Another pro tip, I do makeup, and I really, really like Bangkok for washing my brushes. It's really conditioning and really great and does a good job with that.
Bangkok is an amazing shampoo.
It's so good.
It's so good. I know. I use it too. It's my favorite.
It's so, so good. So I do a lot of that. And then obviously Copenhagen, like leave-in conditioner, I really, really love. Any kind of professional leave-in conditioner is great. But who doesn't want your wig to smell like Pulp Riot? Like it's such a good scent. So I do a lot of that to keep track of it, like to just keep care of it.
Well, thank you so much, everyone. We are right on time. Like hearts in the chat, because that was a killer class. Also, if there's anything that you would really like to dive deep into more, like a rainbow weft class, a sewing a weft in class, anything like that, let us know. This was a really awesome class, Mark. So thank you so much. Like I learned from start to finish. So amazing, amazing. We'll definitely do something like this again because it was very, very good. So thank you so much for that. Again, you guys, we are going to send an email out. If anyone wants to try any samples of anything, email us back as soon as you can. And also, we're going to be sending out the link to both of the classes in case you missed some of it. And don't forget to enter the competition. And yeah, so thank you so much.
And if you do any kind of rainbow wefts or like dip dyeing, tag me in it because I want to see all of it.
Yeah, tag Pulp Riot Canada, tag Mark, you can tag me, we repost some stuff. So thank you so much. You can unmute and say bye. Yeah, we need to hear some voices.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks. That was amazing.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
You're welcome.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Bye,
Stay
everyone.
safe.
Wash your hands.
Yes, wash your hands.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.